Motherfucker,
As we proceed to give you what you need. More bounce to the ounce, and I say what counts. Don't nobody go home till the fat man gets it in. What's happening, chocolate people? Yes, my face is in the place. And you are my boom coon ace. Can you dig it? Welcome to another ride on the Iceman Show podcast, where we talk about all things social and political and economic. I am your host. You know who I am. I am the Iceman, a.k.a. Sub-Zero, a.k.a. Denzel Sausageton, a.k.a. Eddie Kane Jr. Can you dig it? I'd like to welcome you to the place to be. When I said
meet me here, you beat me here. You digs? So you could be doing something else, but nah, you kicking it right here with your boy, the Iceman. Can you dig it? Let that ride for a minute, y'all. Okay, keep pressing. I got you. You want to be on my email mailing list? Let me put the email up here. So also because shoot, this is the official Iceman Show email. Email me here so you can get on the email list so I can email you when we have a show or if something is popping off, I can get in contact with you via email. And since everybody's got email on their phone, they can send and receive emails on their phones, except those of you who still got flip phones, or some of y'all got jitterbug phones. Y'all got them Obama phones. Then, of course, you won't be able to communicate with us. But that's okay, because you're going to need to concentrate on finding you a place to stay if your broke ass stay in the projects. If your housing boss is Dr. Ben Carson, nigga, you in trouble. Or how we used to say in the hood, you is in trouble. You is in trouble. Trying not to be comical here. But some of y'all bring out the nigga in me. And I have to serve y'all up. You digs? Said I wasn't gonna clown tonight. Don't y'all get to clowning. I know how some of y'all are. Just thinking asses. The hell? Motherfuckers tripping, man. Talking about judge denies bond for rapper Kodak Black. Who gives a fuck? Who's this? Listen to this nigga. Motherfucker be, man, some of these people, I swear to God, they're such a goddamn waste of time. You digs? Somebody put something put something on my Instagram feed. It looked like a dude. Look like a dude trying to sell ass. I was like, ugh. Disgusting. Anyway, glad you guys decided to get at the Iceman. You know, nothing wrong with that. Because you want to learn something. What I do here, if you are not familiar with the Iceman, I provide you edutainment. I educate you, but we also, you know, we entertain. So sit back, grab your libation, or if you're still in traffic, and some of y'all got them nice new cars, they got all them features on them, like I don't know, internet, and you can listen. You can listen on the. One brother emailed me. He said, "Ice, don't worry about what time you start the show. If I'm in the car, he said I can listen to you. I can put YouTube on my thing in my car." And I'm like, "What? Man, I ain't got that. Where you work at? Where you work at, bro? Can a brother get an application?" Glad everybody's doing well. By the way, if you are one of our fellow Black citizens who live in Texas, in northern Texas, Canton, Texas, going up into central central Oklahoma, going on up through St. Louis. Hey, be careful. Hold on to your hat. You know, I see a lot of white folks out there looking real bad. Looking real bad. And just to show y'all how some folks can't let white supremacy, you know, can't even let white supremacy lay down like the dirty dog, dirty, tired, broke dick dog that it is. Just won't let that old broke dick dog just lay in the grass with his old broke dick, just laying there, just dick broke. Just let him die, you know, a respectable death for an unrespectable, non-respectable life. You know what I'm saying? Just old broke dick dog. They gotta go there over there and kick the old broke dick dog and give life to the old broke dick dog. Just let the old broke dick dog die with some dignity. Somebody gotta go kick that old dead dog. That old dead dog named white supremacy. I'm looking at the Weather Channel because a brother own it. And I'm looking at the Weather Channel and had one of them cockasoids, you know, one of them cave folk. This very repugnant looking caucasoid was on TV talking about the damage that was done with these tornadoes. Now we trying to find out what the extent of the damage to a little punk ass house. You dig? Do you know this cave woman had to start kicking that dead dog white supremacy? And she went over there and kicked. She didn't just you know, light kick. She did like an NFL kicker trying to kick a 60-yard field goal kind of kick. This bitch hauled off. This is some white woman in Dayton, Ohio. This woman hauled off and went and pulled some racism out of her ass. She said, "Oh, the house was flooding, and we, you know, the tornado came through and was blowing debris all around. But my husband had to run to the top of the house up there where the attic is, because you know them houses in Ohio. Y'all, those of you in Central Ohio, you know what I'm talking about. Got them big ass 3-story, look like 3-story houses, but they, you know, and going toward that part of the country, attics. You know, people lived in the attic. They didn't just put, you know, excess, you know, stuff in the up, storage up there. They actually lived up there. So it was big enough for an average person to stand up in there. That's why when you go on the other side of Chicago, houses look different than the houses on the other side. Some of that has to do with culture, and where people came from Europe and how they learn how to build stuff. But them Ohio houses had them, they always had to have a big attic up there. So people live up there, because my cousins that live in Youngstown used to have that. This woman reached deep down and up in her ass and pulled some racism. I was like, well, see, my husband had to be up there in the attic, and he had to have his shotgun. He had to stand guard, and he had to have his shotgun like this. And if you would have seen this woman's house, you would have been like, bitch, what are y'all protecting? It was a little shit house in Dayton, Ohio. You talking about, man, y'all just don't know, boy. Especially some of y'all that don't travel by car. Man, there's some broke-ass white people in this fucking country, dude. Some broke-ass white folk hate niggas. Broke as a motherfucker, live amongst black folk and be walking down the street, nigger, 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 nigger. You got a lot of them kind of white people in Detroit. They live around black people, can't stand black people, and be getting their ass whooped every day in East Detroit. Fuck you, niggas! Pow, pow, pow. White boy be dirty and beat up. You don't just be, okay? You can always tell where the white people live, because they don't have a speck of grass on their line. No front door, flies coming and going as they please. Old broke dick dog got some more. They ain't eating they skinny as a motherfucker, but they got old broke dick dog over there. Dog just as full. He getting his Alpo every day. Woof. Okay, the dog eat better than they do. Y'all know them white people be like that. Y'all know them white people be living like that. That shit funny to me, because if you go to the Twin Cities, you got white people like that. You go to the Twin Cities, you got white people like that, man. That motherfucker broke as a motherfucker. Motherfucker, nigga, I'm better than you, nigga. You be like, better than who? These white people so broke when they call black people nigger, they just laugh at them. Like, who you calling nigger? You a nigger. Look at you, broke motherfucker. Your whiteness ain't worth shit. That's why you living over here with us. Fuck out of here, white boy Rick. Fuck out of here. White people crack me up, man. You got to do better than call us the N-word, man. I'm sorry. You got to do better than that, white people. You got to do better than that. You got to do better than that in 2019. That word don't hurt black folk feelings no more. Now, we might still go ahead and whoop your ass, because you asked for a good ass whooping. But we gonna just leave it at that. Okay? A little past that good ass whooping, we ain't gonna let it progress past that, because that word don't have the potency that it used to. Black folks is doing things for themselves. At least some of us are. You dig? This woman house all fucked up. I find it hard to believe that house looked any better than that before that tornado. Because that house it looked like shit. And it didn't tear the whole house up. It just blew the windows out. That house wasn't worth a shit before that. They're gonna, I know damn good and well some black folks got affected by those tornadoes. How can they ain't talking to black folk? Now, true enough, that tornado went straight across Oklahoma. It went right in the middle, and then it went southeast. I mean, went northeast up to Chicago. I mean, went right up I-55. I've driven up I-55 more times than I'm willing to count from the late 60s up to now. That's one highway I hate because it's just 200 miles of nothing until you hit Chicago, till you hit them early cities. It's either you take I-57 or you take I-55. Where my Chicago people at? That show The Shy, man. That's I watch that show every week. Well, when it come on. Heard my man, the brother with the food truck. I heard they kicked him off the show for sexual harassment already. He's on Jason Alexander. He's the only reason why I watched the show, because he played Eazy-E on Straight Outta Compton. Crazy, man. But this woman couldn't even put her racism aside. Because whenever they start talking about, they was looters, they talking about black people. Okay? Now, this woman was in Dayton, Ohio. Okay? Funk capital of the world. More funk bands came out of Dayton, Ohio. Woo! Slave. Part of Funk Parliament Funkadelic. Ohio Players. Phazo. All kind of bands, boy. Y'all just don't know. By the way, the Funk Museum is getting ready, has closed because they can't afford their lease. So those of you who want to donate money, that's a cause you should donate to. I think they have a GoFundMe. Okay, the Funk Museum is closed because lack of support. You guys know I talk about that a lot. So we have to get off of that. Certain institutions should not be closing their doors. And here we got a pocket full of money. Okay, these churches ain't going under. How come, huh, black folk? How many churches have you heard of closing? In the middle of neighborhoods where there are no jobs. No jobs. But you got a $10 million church, beautiful sanctuary sitting there right in the middle of the hood. And you got all them black folks starving. Just asking. That's what we do on this show. We ask questions. If we don't have the answers, we're going to at least pose the question and have you lead with that, because on your own time you can research why that is. People say to me, well, Iceman, I would listen to you if you didn't fundraise all the time. I'm like, hey man, what I do here, my broadcast ain't for everybody. I make that clear. This ain't Sambo and Coon headquarters and Mammy headquarters. If you are a Sambo, Mammy, or Coon, you will not find a safe haven here. And you will quickly figure that out and you will leave. Because this ain't no haven for people who don't contribute anything. I'm not just talking about fundraising. And by the way, if you want to donate tonight, which I please ask that you would donate at you can put in the Cash App ID of $ the Iceman 1906. That's my Cash App. That's my free Cash App ID. Put that in to donate your $5 tonight. Or you can go to asktheiceman.com, scroll down to the donate button and donate there. This is the second installment of a show I did 5 years ago. Believe it or not, I did the first version of this 5 years ago. God, those of you who have been, you're part of the Iceman Show family. And by the way, if you want to be a part of the Iceman Show family, here's my email address. I'm going to put that in the chat room here. Here's my email address. I want you to email me a good email address so you can get on our email list, and we can make sure we get pertinent information to you so that you will be in the know. So that's the email address right there. But I did a broadcast October of 2014. And it was, is it racism or is it our stupidity? That was the part one. This is part two. And I was going to listen to that show to figure out where I was going in that show and then pick up at the end. But I'm not going to do that because whatever information I give you today is 2019 info. So does it really matter? Because what was applicable, October, November of 2014 isn't right now, May 2019. Y'all see where I'm going with this? So I hopefully you guys won't, think any less of me about, by us going and talking about that. But anyway, the first version, here's the email address. Here's the link. Here's the link. It's in the chat room on YouTube. You guys can see it right there. You digs? And I'm going to put it on Facebook so you guys can copy and paste it. That's the first version. So you can go back and copy and paste that, and then you can look at the first version, listen to the first version of that. Anyway, and basically what I was talking about on that broadcast was, is it racism, or is our situation where we are socio-politically and socio-economically in this country, is it our stupidity? Huh? Is it our stupidity, or is it just racism? And this is probably one of the most objective broadcasts I've ever done. I'm proud of myself, especially with this show. That and the Psychology of Mackin show that I did in 2012 with Blog Talk Radio. Wish I hadn't taken that down because I had to re-record it. I had to do it old school style, broke people style, poor people style. So it sounds all rickety and kind of pissed me off that I did that. Anyway, let's all agree that Black people's position economically, politically, and socially is that of white supremacy, and that is not our fault. We can all agree on that, right? Okay, cool. Now let's get to the nitty gritty. You digs? Excuse me. You will never hear me say that Black people are in the position they're in because of their own doing. Those words will never be uttered by me. Why? Because that is not fair to all of our ancestors, our parents, our aunts, our uncles, and all of our great grandmothers and grandfathers who were victimized in every which way, subjugated in every which way, and because of their struggle and their love for us, we're here. We're still catching hell, but we're still here. So you will never hear me utter any disrespectful words like, oh, we in this situation, it's all our fault. You'll never hear me saying that because Black people are in the situations that we are in this country. It's because of white supremacy and nothing else. It ain't because Black chiefs sold any black slaves and all this Black Indians did this and they did that. Look, none of that stuff would ever happen. The selling of any human beings would ever happen. No justification for it, and not a legally state sanctioned, federal government sanctioned terrorism, domestic terrorism on Black men and women that look like you and I. You will never hear me say it's our fault, because it's not. And you need to tell yourself that, because that pain is something we are not dealing with. That's why we're asking for tangible reparations. We're not asking for it because we think we need a couple extra quarters in our pockets. We're saying this is owed to us because our people built this motherfucker. Our country was built by our people that brought their expertise of agriculture, building buildings, structures, shipbuilding. We brought that to Europe, not the other way around. And then they used their evilness to turn around and and kill millions upon millions of Black men and women, children that look like us, in order to build up Europe. And yet, before we went over there, they didn't even bathe. They used the bathroom, number 1 and 2, inside the house. You don't believe me? Read some of them old books, rewritten by written by those Moors, talking about how nasty the Europeans were. That's why they got to make up Game of Thrones. They got to make up some old fairy tale this is how Europe was back in them days type fantasy. That's why I could never get into Game of Thrones. People like, man, you don't watch Game of Thrones? I'm like, you nigga nerd. I don't watch that shit. Fuck, I watch no damn Game of Thrones. Man, let me tell you something. When people were back in the day, people was talking about, oh man, you got to watch The Sopranos. I was one of the few people that started watching The Sopranos, but when it first came on, I didn't get on the bandwagon like a lot of people. Well, I was looking at it when nobody was talking about it. I could see somebody, getting wood over The Sopranos because The Sopranos was more believable than Game of Flying goddamn. I thought that shit was Godzilla versus the dragons. I was like, man, wait a minute, them Japanese made of some science fiction I ain't never heard of. This is a Godzilla episode I ain't never seen. Nigga, I saw Mecha Godzilla. Let me stop clowning, man. I saw Mecha Godzilla. Man, they got another weak Godzilla movie coming out. Y'all see that? Man, that last one they made about 2 years ago, it was whack. Like, no, about 4 years ago. That one was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. The one they made back in like 98 was better than that. That one was decent. Now they got Godzilla fighting by 2 or 3 other monsters. I saw they gonna fuck this up. But they got my man Ice Cube's son in it, so it might be fly. But I ain't going to see it. Because again, I rented it from Redbox and it was garbage. Had the Wi-Fi set. Man, I had to have my all my my surround sound, everything, my 1,000-watt speaker, 2,000-watt speakers set up, had everything. I was gonna crank that mother for the love of Godzilla. And then he came out and went, I was like, oh, that was weak. Oh, that was weak. Godzilla, I'm disappointed, my dude. I'm disappointed. You gonna come at a player like that, man? Your punk ass. Now look here. Now look here. Player. Now look. You will never, ever, 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 ever disrespect the ancestors like that. That's just something I would never do. No matter what mistakes we made, man, I say we. I'm saying me too. Whatever mistakes we make, especially socially and individually and collectively, they can be traced back to the trauma of slavery and Jim Crow up until today. All of our behavior, including mine. So when people say, well, how come a lot of these black men do X, Y, Z? Why do these black men do X, Y, Z? It can be traced back to the psychopathology and trauma we had to endure during slavery and afterward. You can trace almost all our social behavior back to slavery. That's why we need to be made whole financially, and we'll take the excess and go get some counseling. Because I would rather have a big ass knot in my pocket and be in therapy. Oh Lord. Oh man, get out there, white pepper. Then the man, the white peppers. Look what the white peppers did to me. I'd rather do that with a knot in my pocket and a fat ass bank account than to go on another 100 years letting these people off the hook. You understand me? The great, 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 great grandkids of the people who enslaved us and who are profiting to this very day off the backs of our people. Let's not even talk about patents, things that were these inventions that were stolen and patented by white families. The theft goes so far deep. The theft, let me tell you something, theft of intellectual property like our brain trust, you can't even put a dollar sign on that, dog. All those engineers and farmers who had to be dehumanized through the process of shadow slavery, who built America and continue to build America. You can't put a price tag on that, dog. I'm sorry. I know a lot of cats don't want to talk about this stuff. It's just some difficult material to talk about. I understand that, but we're going to have to deal with it. Somebody going to have to deal with it. Somebody got to man up and say, I'm willing to deal with the pain. We're going to have to get this straight, my brothers. Let's get this straight. Who's going to step up? Who's going to step up? Who's going to be a man? And that's why a lot of times I try to test cats with the donation thing, because I want to see how long it's going to take you before you start either becoming a hater and not wanting to support the show or sort of support the movement, because it ain't just me. It ain't just me. You digs? How long is it going to take before these people turn against me for no reason? Some of these guys are fellow veterans. Shame on you, man. That's all it takes to get rid of you, is to get you to stand up like a man and be a part of something and understand that your support is going to drive this ship. We can't even count on you. You got guys whining about $5 and $10, yet they spend that. They put that in a porn arcade. They put that much in a porno arcade and don't get anything out of it. I'm giving you good information here. If I wasn't, you wouldn't be looking at me right now. How long does it take a black man to start hating on another black man? You know, it's amazing the shit that swirls around in black men and black women's heads about other black men and women. And none of it's true. I've had people assume I'm a millionaire. I'm like, dude, me? Really, dude? If you think I could become a millionaire of $20 in donations, dude, that's not what the donations ain't for me. How can you assume I'm a millionaire? because I seem organized, because I got a business mind backed up by education. Although my MBA is useless. I mean, it's about as useless as toilet tissue. Working for somebody else, but using that intelligence for me to fund, to be the brain trust of my business. Yeah, it's worth something. It is. But it's not worth anything if I was still trying to work in corporate America. It's not worth it, because they're getting way more out of my education and my know-how than I'm getting out of it. Y'all see how that works? This is why I do what I do right here, because hopefully I'm inspiring other Black men and women to say, I don't have to sit here and put up with this racism and the bullshit that I got to put up with working in this corporate structure that I ain't progressing that much anyway in. I can't spread my wings and be the Black woman and Black man that I am. I can't be that person. I got to act like my ass is super swollen and tight. I got to act like I'm interested in the same stupid ass shit that my white counterparts are interested in, when I'm really not. I can't be me. You deal with that shit for 20 years. You've been lost your fucking mind trying to be somebody else to get that check and still get it harassed and accused and prosecuted and persecuted for bullshit. But then again, some Black folks don't get tired of that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but that ain't for me. I'm not going to sit there and work for somebody else. Just not my style. You do you, I'll do me. Ain't that what Captain Obvious said? I see the white dude at the gym look just like Captain Obvious. I said, hey, man, what you know about hotels.com? He was like, huh? What? Huh? What? Huh? Black man, what? Darky, what? So what I'm saying to y'all, I'm about to close these blinds in a minute, turn this light on, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, let me say this to you, because I need to get into this. You know what? Let me just go ahead and we're gonna let me take a quick break. Let me get these blinds open and all that kind of stuff. Okay, that light's on. All right. Thank you, Monstar 86. Thank you, my brother. Anyway, so we going about the game sideways as usual. But at the same time, that does not excuse the white supremacy that we all have had to contend with and has derailed some of us we have been derailed in our quest for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Some of us have not been able to attain that, and some of us have not had the chance to it. We have not been given the tools to to get there. So I have to ask myself, what are we really talking about here? Are we at a disadvantage? Is it our stupidity, or is it we just don't want to think for ourselves and we like losing? Oh, word up, brown sausage. Stay safe, brother. But we, it's a combination of a lot of things. But what is 100%, it is 100% not our fault. We are in the condition we're in. Because a lot of people get me twisted. They be like, Ice, man, you sound like, a Nazi. You sound like, you sound like Republican. Because I'm saying we got responsibilities? Are you serious, bro? Look, it ain't this the people who put us in the condition we're in today are not going to help us get out of it. That's Democrats and Republicans. Neither one of these people, these bodies of people, are going to get us out of the situations we're in. It's going to be of our doing, and specifically Black men. We got to get off talking about mentorship programs and all this shit that ain't got nothing to do with getting Black people out of the economic bondage that we're in. You have to be in economic bondage in your mind to give away $3 trillion every year. Our disposable income is $1.3 trillion. 97% of that goes back to Charlie. And then in credit, for every dollar we earn, we got $2 in credit. So we spend another $2 trillion, 100% of that outside of the Black neighborhood. That's why we live the way we live. Let me give you a nice fun-filled statistic. The bottom 50 percentile of Black Americans have a net worth of $1 or less. Do you know how, when I talk about Black people becoming extinct, when you see if you got a social science background like I do, a lot of stuff starts, rearing its ugly head in your mind. You like, wait a minute, I'm hearing some shit right now. I'm hearing some fucked up shit right now. See, when I hear certain things, they can show you Oprah, they can show you Stedman, they can show you, Robert Smith, they can show you all of these success, Michael Jordan, they can show you all of these successful Black men and women, but what they fail to tell you is that them 5 or 6 Black billionaires and millionaires damn near have more wealth than 50% of the black people in this country, and there are 40 million of us. Now, does that sound shocking to you? Does that sound scary to you? You don't have to shoot all of us in the head. The murders by race soldiers posing as police officers and deputized white supremacists in the citizenry, that's just to keep us in line. Remember, public killings are always to keep the citizenry in line. See, when I started the show by saying it's not your fault that you're in the situation you're in, I was doing that for psychological reasons. Because we have a habit of blaming ourselves for being mistreated in this country. You ain't supposed to be mistreated, black woman. You ain't supposed to be mistreated, black man. If you or I are accepting poor treatment from Caucasian citizens, then there is a character flaw with both of us if we're tolerating that shit. I don't tolerate mistreatment by anybody. I just have a level of decency that if I'm going to be decent towards you, be decent toward me back. That's all I ask. You ain't got to kiss my ass. You know, you go to these retail places and you got these little millennial motherfuckers. You buy something and they be like, well, do you want a bag? I said, no, I'm just going to walk out this motherfucker with, you know, a pack of socks and some drawers. And you say to yourself, are these young people, some of these young people that stupid? Well, look at their culture. They don't even know how to cook. Why are we not surprised? We have no expectations of these young people. Hey, we didn't have no expectations, did we? Some of us didn't. But the problem is we all suffer. See, black folks, being selfish affects us worse than it affects everybody else. Because we got so many sellouts. We got so many coons. We got so many Sambos. We got so many mammies. And we got so many haters. Because we got so many haters. And again, the other three, mammies, Sambos, and coons, it throws off the energy. You see how every time we get to talk about black empowerment here on the Iceman Show podcast, some of these days you get white supremacy, the AKA the mayonnaise militia. They jumping in here calling people the N-word, trying to throw the energy off. Why? Because that we doing work here. We getting some things done. I'm in Facebook jail on my other Facebook page because I told the truth about something. So they're going to put me in Facebook jail again. Hey, can I get my hour outside the cell? Just put niggas in Facebook jail. Every time you say something, somebody don't like, here they go report me. I said, let me look down my face. And see, that's why now I take time friending people up on Facebook. Because you don't know who's a mammy, you don't know who's a coon, and you don't know who's a Sambo. Until you start having shows like what we have, like discussions like what we having tonight. See, if I start talking about Deuteronomy and Luke and Matthew and 5th chapter, 2nd verse, then I'd have 100,000 subscribers just tonight only. But I ain't telling you witch doctor nonsense that don't work, that hasn't worked. I'm talking about stuff that works. I'm giving you social tools that work. I ain't giving you flim flam like Reverend so-and-so gonna give you. That's why 90% of the clientele for black churches are single moms. Why? Because they can talk flim flam and they'll still keep coming back. A married woman's gonna hear flim flam and she's gonna stay home. Black men know flim flam when they hear it. That's why we don't go to church. Look, I could get what a black man tell you when you tell a black man about going to church. What he say to you? Shit, I get hustled by one of my homies. Shit, and I could be right here in my living room getting hustled by one of them niggas. Then be up in church getting hustled. You tell me I ain't going to heaven because I don't tithe. Fuck out of here, man. Man, I used to sit there and hear these ministers tell these lies, man. Sound like my grandmother. Boy, you just a lie. Big Mama used to have me cracking up. Boy, you just a lie. You hear me? Just lying. And that's why single moms are the clientele of the black church. And they always gonna be. Because black men know bullshit when they hear it. You don't know where the fuck I'm going after I die, you old motherfucker. Selling people that bullshit. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. These young people don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear nothing about floating up in the sky and Jesus had his 12 homies and none of them smoked no weed and all that kind of, man, black people tired of hearing flim flam. People want intangibles that they can take and say, okay, let me take this and improve my life. That's what I'm about. I'm about self-help. You digs? I don't have to have the donations. I just want you to feel that you need to contribute. This is how you keep black enterprises going. Because if they can't at least fund what they can afford to provide to you as content, and then you go and leave anyway because you really ain't loyal, just like you know these hoes ain't loyal. You acting like a female now, dog. We can't count on you. Men stand tall. When I was in the military, you had to like be damned if you had to be on duty in the dorm, in the barracks. I never had to get caught up like that because I used to have them white boys do my stuff. Shit, I was pimping, nigga. Shit, I was pimping, nigga. I was in basic training, pimping people. Hey, little Timmy, come here, man. Shine my boots, player. Why would I shine your boots? Because you want to. Now, still know that white boy be shining them boots. Man, I never did KP. I never did none of that shit. But they will put the fear of death in your ass when you in basic training. Cause see, what they stopped doing by the time I came in the military. The drill instructor, or in our case in the Air Force, they call him a training instructor. Our TIs would go home. See, back in the 60s, back during Vietnam, the TI, the drill sergeant, he stayed there at the dorm. at the barracks. So he was fucking with you all night. Cause them old Air Force niggas, boy, they be like, oh man, you would have came in doing Vietnam, young blood. I'll be like, okay. I was never dorm chief. I didn't want to be dorm chief. I was a squad leader. I used to get out of all kind of shit. They be like, hey man, it's your time to do KP. I'll be like, little Timmy gonna do it. Here, Timmy. Man, y'all think I'll be lying. Man, I didn't do shit. Man, I was pimping. That's why I know I could have been a good pimp. Cause I was getting them white boys to my shit. I'm saying, little Timmy, you want to do this? Yes, you do. Remind me while I'm doing this for you, cause I don't want to see you don't get fucked up. You want me to bust your ass. Man, if I told you the stuff I was doing in basic training, you'd thought you was looking at the officer and the gentleman. All right. Hey, let me tell you something. If you a dude from the streets, when you get to the military, hey, for the real smart players, nigga, you be pimping. You be pimping. Them Air Force bases were a source of income for a lot of brothers. A lot of side hustles. Okay? A lot of side hustles got born once a guy got to his first detachment. Okay? Shit, my first base that I went to, they were wife swapping. That's how freaky they would get with. But let me tell you something, man. People tell you, man. People think the military is all tight ass. Maybe on a Marine base, but not on an Air Force base. Not on an Air Force or Army base. Navy either. I don't know, Camp Lejeune. I heard they were like, man, you don't go on Camp Lejeune and go to the BX. They say, because I went to Camp Pendleton and had my earrings in my ears, like I had my hoops in my ear. I had a Marine come up to me. He said, hey, man, you got to take them earrings out. I was like, dude, I ain't on duty right now. He said, man, we different. He said, you Air Force, huh? I said, yeah. He started laughing. He says he was like a gunny. He was like a E6, E7. So I know he had some rank. That's why I didn't really come at him. I didn't get funky with him because I was still on active duty then. And so I said, yeah, I'm Air Force. He started laughing. He said, yeah, we don't. He said, man, you gonna take them earrings out, man. I said, all right, I took them out. But that was the last time. That was the last time I've been on a Marine base. I was like, oh man, y'all like this? You can't have no fun. Shit, Air Force base, you got guys gambling, guys selling dope, guys serving, guys slinging dick. You got guys selling dick. Man, it was dudes doing stuff. You'd be like, let me tell you something, a military base is like a little city. So all the kind of people you got out there in the hood, you're going to have them on the Air Force, on the Army, or the new Marine base, or the Navy base. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Before the Euro, before the EU, Europe, guys would move to Europe and be like, man, I'm living like a fat rat, man. You don't need no money over here. Cause it's called me, what's it called me? It's called me Air Force. He said, yeah, Air Force, you should come over here to Germany. Say, oh man, you get them American cigarettes, sell them to them German dudes. He said, man, you name your product. Them cigarettes like weed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Them were the days, brother. See, when I came in, they start cutting down shit. They start cutting stuff. Let's start cutting a lot of stuff out. They start closing them bases. They started closing the E clubs. Back in those of you who were ever stationed at Fort Sam in San Antonio or Randolph or Lackland or Kelly when it was open. Let me ask y'all something real quick. San Antonio was bearable when Fort Sam and Randolph and Lackland had them E clubs open to the public, wasn't they? It was popping off in San Antonio back then, because I know some people that was stationed in San Antonio back in the 80s and the 90s. They was like, oh man, it was popping, boy. It is when they closed the E clubs to the public is when San Antonio got weak. San Antonio got whack. That's when people starts talking shit about San Antonio. When they stopped letting people, non-military personnel on the bases. Might have been after 9/11. It fucked it up. It fucked it up. It ain't worth shit now. You go to San Antonio, don't even have a goddamn club. It used to be back in the 80s, going like 90s on back. You never went to a town that didn't have at least one black club. Even if we didn't own it, there was some definitive place that you could come to town and be like, hey man, we want to shake our ass. Well, go over there to Dion's on the Strip. I'm like, Dion's on the Strip? Yeah, go to Dion's on the Strip. It's on 1st and Main. It's downtown. And you go down, them niggas be, hey, dun, 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 dun. These are the breaks. You be like, see, back in the 80s, that's how it was with black folk. You could go to any town and get your boogie on. It wasn't like it is today where you got niggas trying to kill niggas. It wasn't like that back then. You could go to any town and be like, meet some brothers at the liquor store and be like, hey man, what's up? Man, my name Greg. Hey man, where y'all party at? Oh, where y'all from? Oh, we from Chicago. Oh man, hey man, my cousin from Chicago, man. And they be like, hey, we gonna be such and such. And then you go down there, you see them same dude. They be like, what's up, man? This is my cousin. I tell you about from Chi-Town. Y'all get the dapping and hey man, let me buy y'all beer. And then y'all party. It just be like cool. You get them cats number. Y'all stay in touch. That's how it was in the 80s and 90s. Black people, I don't know where did all this. I gotta kill a nigga. I don't like that dude. I don't like that chick. It's too much of that stuff. It's hard to get anything popping. It really is. When you can't even go to the next city over and shake your ass like you could 30 years ago. Is it our stupidity or is it racism? Or should I say white supremacy? Excuse me. Get rid of all these low ass bottles of water. Now I hate I bought these low bottles of water. Now dig this. Dig this. I am the way I am when I say I'm friendly to the people I want to be friendly with. Let me just say that as a caveat, because some people I don't want to be friendly with. Now, you know, I done said that on this broadcast many of times. You digs? But for most people, I'm open to small talk. I never thought it would come a day that black men and women will hate each other so much that we can't go from one town to the next and be able to rub a friendly elbow and have a good time and have people not feel like these people are going to get us killed because we're from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I refuse to believe that we that bad. I refuse to believe we are beyond the point of no return. I refuse to believe that. Sorry, I just do. I believe that some of us are worth saving. I do. I think some of us are worth saving. Let me say this again. They said 50% of black people in this country have a net worth of $1 or less. Does that sound like most black people are middle class? So when you hear people like Uncle Joe Biden talking about the middle class, you know that's a dog whistle for white people. Because if you have a net worth of $1 or less, and that's if we said 50%, you ain't middle class. That's how you become extinct. When your control of means of production, not that we own any of those processes today. This is how much you don't control. I don't think people understand that extinction isn't just about shooting you in the head and physically killing you. That's a quick death. Dying slowly is living at the poverty level or below it. You got people on certain platforms on urban radio, talk radio, talking about talking about most black people ain't poor. And I'm like, well, what are you really saying? Because they're talking about, some people go around saying all black folks are poor. That's not necessarily a bad statement. It's not necessarily, it's not necessarily a wrong statement. That's not necessarily a right statement. It's kind of in the middle. See, poor, when you say somebody's poor, that's one thing. That's generational. When you say somebody's broke, you talking about temporary. When you say you broke, you basically saying I'm broke till payday. It don't mean you can't buy a pizza. It just means you ain't gonna have no money. You ain't gonna get a significant amount of money until payday. As you tell your side bitch, look, baby, I ain't got no money. You're going to have to holler at me on payday. Next thing you know, you get out to go grab the morning paper, and you get ready to drink your coffee, and then scamper off to work. You notice that somebody has carved "you black motherfucker" on the side of your Mercedes. Is that stupidity? Is that racism? Or is that your stupidity? Okay? I'm just trying to lay it out for you. I ain't trying to do your thinking. I ain't trying to do your thinking for you. You smart enough. They're paying you enough. Come on now. Musket head, motherfucker. Yeah, people get stationed at Fort Sam now. They want to get the hell out of there. Shit, you can't wait to get out of Lackland. I would never want to do my tech school at Lackland. Ugh. So you there for 3.5 months for basic training, and you got to be there for tech school. Ugh. I'm glad they shipped my ass out. Damn, Toronto is a problem. Ask the Warriors. But again, it's not our fault that we are in the situation we're in today. But it is. But we are the only ones who are going to get ourselves out of this situation. Real talk. I'm just keeping it gangster, which is the only way I know how. That's how it's going down. That's how it is. That's what we're dealing with. You digs? That's what we're dealing with. And the way we deal with 2019 white supremacy is we have to be honest. We have to stop saying, well, you saying they superior to us, they ain't superior to us. If you're getting caught up in the words, you ain't really trying to do anything. If that's what you hung up on, Negro, you ain't serious anyway. You ain't trying to do nothing. You taking up space. Now look at here. Look here. Now, you will become extinct if you can't economically sustain yourself. Do you understand? That's why it's so important that we understand that we're not a monolith. We're not a monolith as far as political ideology. I get all that. We're past that. I don't have to be a Republican. You don't have to be a Democrat. Even if you might be a black Republican, I guarantee there's something you and I can agree on as black men. And from that point, we have to be in solidarity with each other, regardless of political ideology. See, that's where cooning and samboing and mammying come in. See, when you want to sit up here and not stand with and for each other, you start doing this phony coalition opting. You got black men and women who don't get it that we have no racial friends. Everybody are against us. It's them folk, them folk, them folk, and then it's us. You don't believe me? Get into an argument with a Mexican and the white dude will get on his side. Get in an argument with another Mexican and the Mexican, even if the other Mexican is wrong as 5 left feet, they'll back them and be ready to do something funky to you if you let them. That's how it is. Against you. This ain't about smiling in your face. This ain't about calling you nigger behind your back. We're way beyond that. And it's you guys, some of you guys, who don't want to believe that you're in danger of becoming extinct. They said by year 2030, or it's either 2030 or 2050, black people will have a -0 net worth. Do you know how right now, let me explain to you just how dangerous it is for you. If you're not a YouTuber, then you may not want to do this. But I know a lot of my guys listen to TBA. Okay, the Black Authority. I think they shut down that channel, so now he's got the Black channel or something like that. Anyway, Jason Black. Not his real name, but okay. For those of you who want to get hung up on that, who cares what his name is? Anyway, he did a show, and you can find it on his channel on YouTube. It's called the five ways to Nazi Germany. And all 5 of the ones that he talked about make sense and really talk about the situation the Jews were in and in the powerless position they were in and how easy it was to kill them. One of them was, you should listen to that video. One of them was, and I talk about this because I said the 10 ways you know your woman is disrespecting you. I talk about this. I did that show for some subscriber only. I did that for people who are paying subscriptions. Very good show, but I got it on lockdown. And I never released it to the public to listen to. There's probably another 300. There's probably another 100, about 120 videos that have never been that I never given access to the public to. That are funnier than the stuff I used to do when I first started doing the Iceman show. Check this out. Anytime people are calling you niggers in public, anytime you have people putting their hands on you, I'm talking about regular citizens. When people racially become allies against you, you're in Nazi Germany or worse. But there's other ways they can kill you. They can kill you through giving you poison water like they do in Flint in Detroit. Half the Detroit school system had water in it in the sinks and in the drinking fountains that was considered poison. I remember I did a show about that. See, that was on Obama's watch. That was back. I did that show back in it happened like 2016. 2014. So Obama was still president then. At the same time, Flint, and did y'all know this? Flint, the city of Flint in Detroit was rerouted water from Flint to guess what company? Nestle. Because Nestle has a beverage division that sells water and I think other soft drinks. See, a lot of these companies own certain brands you didn't know they owned. Pepsi and Coke were the first ones that were doing that stuff. When you think of Nestle, you're thinking about chocolate. But anyway, the Nestle company was paying the city council of Flint and Detroit school board members. Remember, this is allegedly, they were paying those government officials so that they could pay for, and they wasn't paying for the water. It'd be one thing if they were getting it, they were paying for it. They weren't. They had them to divert water away from citizens. The company, the Nestle company in Michigan. So over the health and the public health implications to the citizens and the residents of Flint, Michigan, they put a corporation above people's lives. That's how dirty these people are. And they did it right there in them people's faces. And if we had the nose for bullshit that I had, if half the people had the nose for smelling bullshit that I do, nothing would get past us. But instead, we got black folks who want to be asleep at the wheel. We got black folks who would rather be drunk, high, or both. We rather be partying and having a good old wang dang doodle time than standing up and fighting these people who really ain't they really ain't the big bad adversary that you think they are. Because whenever we fought them toe to toe, we won. And that's without the guns. See, when everybody's on the same page, we are a formidable opponent. The problem is we got too many coons, mammies, and sambos hiding amongst us who are fucking up the energy and who are trying to dissipate the energy of empowerment. See, the problem with us is that the reason why we got so much of this pandering and ass kissing and that you see with a lot of brothers and sisters, the reason why you see a lot of that is because a lot of black folks are scared. They're scared to acknowledge white supremacy and saying what it is fucked up. It's a fucked up system that credits and uplifts Caucasian people who don't deserve to be uplifted. That's what it is. It's a racial hierarchy system. It's a caste system, a racial caste system. When I used to walk past the Cabrini Green, when we used to get out of the car and go up in Cabrini Green in Chicago, or you go over there to the other projects, some of the older projects, man, they smell like piss. You could be on the street and you could walk past and smell piss. And I said to myself, how can black people be living like this? That back east, that St. Louis, Chicago, Kansas City poverty, and New York, Cleveland poverty. See, that's that East Coast poverty. See, I ain't used to that kind of poverty. See, that poverty that I'm used to out in the West was like, okay, we broke, we ain't poor, we broke. You know what I'm saying? But there's some parts of LA that's hard for me to drive through because it's hard seeing my people living like that. You dig? So we have to see this as it is. It's fucked up. It's putting us in a bad situation. And the only way this is going to change is by black men standing up. Okay, so what do I need to do? The first thing you need to do is stand up whenever people try to knock you down. That's all you got to do, whatever that is. Because if I say just do this, then you're just going to do that one thing. You ain't going to do all the things you need to do. You need all of these social skills. Start standing up and stop putting yourself in positions where you got to depend on Hunky McGee for your daily bread. Get out here, start you a business, even if you don't know what you're doing and you just want to do it as a side hustle until you can get going. Then you do that. Don't be afraid to do that, black man and black woman. Do that. Don't sit up here and be expecting no job from Hunky McGee. And don't get mad when he don't give you one. They're going to save all the good jobs for their people. We got to get our own shit. Stop sitting up here. Because, see, black folks think when it comes to, presidential candidates like Joe Biden, black folks had this mentality that they listen to that bullshit that Joe Biden talking, where they telling you, well, all you got to do is get Trump out of office. You mean to tell me that all we got to do is get Trump out of office and that will solve all our problems? See, according to Uncle Joe, that's true. Now, let me ask you something, players. Let me just holler at the players for a second. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, didn't we have white supremacy before Trump got in there? I mean, if we want to be historically accurate, right? Obama was in there during that time, right? Right. So how come we weren't better off? We had a so-called first black president. How come we weren't better off? We had 8 years of Obama, and the only people who benefited were homosexuals and illegal aliens. The whole time he was in the whole 8 years he was in the presidency. That's all he did. But I got black folks attacking me, talking about, well, he got Bin Laden. And I'm like, so how much money did that put in your pocket, nigga? Huh, nigga? How much money did that put in your pocket, nigga? Fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? How is killing Bin Laden benefiting us? Are you kidding me? I'm like, dude, you gonna go there? Don't get me started on 9/11, dude. Now look at him. Black men. Your mind is not playing tricks on you. When I say we are in the condition we're in and it's not our fault, it's not. But if we don't do anything about getting ourselves out of this situation collectively, it is our fault. Would you agree with that? Would you all agree with that? We got to do something, man. Because leaving things the way they are as they stand today, right here, the way they are economically, while black folk, 50% of us have a net worth of $1 or less. They didn't say how many had a net worth of 50 cents. Because the people that fall below $1, they said that was the threshold. If the people, Lord have mercy, what kind of net worth do people have that are under the $1? Y'all see the urgency here? This is the result. This is the net result of benign neglect policies. This is integration. This is why we are in the situation we are in. This is because of civil rights. We're in the condition we're in today, and we still have black people who are not being honest and forthright about getting us out of this position. And those of us who are being forthright, forthright about the honest situation, we get demonized as kooks and hoteps. I'm telling you because I'm warning you. What people don't understand is that economic collapse of 2007, 8, and 9 was planned. Here's how you know it was planned. The people who caused it didn't take any risks, didn't lose anything, and didn't go to jail. Let me say it one more time. Here's how you know that economic collapse of 2007, 8, 9, and 10 was a plan. Here's how you know it was planned. The people who caused it didn't lose anything, any economic resources or assets. Caused millions, not hundreds of thousands, millions of people, not just in the USA, but all over the world, to lose everything. People's pensions, their whole pension got wiped out. Now, before you sit there and start sniggling, let me explain something. The same thing can happen to you, and there wasn't no grand recession. It's easy to do that. Or they can change the name of the company and take your pension. Your pension ain't protected by shit. And thirdly, those people, no crime was committed and nobody went to jail. That's how you know it was planned. How you gonna cause an economic collapse and you don't go to jail? You got people jumping out of windows because of that shit. Do you know? Let me explain something to you. Do you realize how devastating it is for somebody to tell you you worked somewhere for 35 years and you get a call from your institution and they tell you that your pension got wiped out? Your whole pension. Think about that for a second. Your whole pension, everything you put in there is gone, and nobody is accountable for it. Now, let me ask you again. Does that sound like an inside job or what? And nobody go to jail? Madoff went to jail. Shit, Madoff went to prison. How come they couldn't make these other motherfuckers go to prison? Oh, I know. They're above the law. This is why I keep telling y'all. This is why I keep telling y'all and warning you about what's coming your way. And a lot of people want to sit here and write me off again, write me off as a kook and say, oh, he just running his fucking mouth. I told you Trump was going to win the presidency, didn't I? While all you Negroes are saying he wasn't. Oh man, they ain't gonna let him in there. They put Obama's ass up there twice. Don't sit up and tell me what they won't do. You better get that shit out your head. They will make us extinct. And it ain't hard to do it. We're in a totally powerless position right now as I speak. Totally. When it gets to the point when you live in a society as big as ours, where no matter where you live in this country, it's okay to shoot black people on sight and nobody go to jail. Nobody go to jail, nobody go to prison, especially if they wear a uniform and have a gun and a badge. We're way past Nazi Germany, people. When they start killing your children, you're way past Nazi Germany. When they can just sit there and kill your Trayvon Martin and your Tamir Rice or Michael Brown, they can just haul off and kill your son and then demonize them afterward. Instead of demonizing the asshole who killed them, they demonize the victim, the child. Well, he did smoke a little weed. Yeah, and your son does acid. But you don't want nobody to know that, huh? Piece of shit. That's why propaganda is so important. When you sit up there, when you haul off, and on every turn, you're on, whether it's the so-called news, whether it's so-called entertainment shows, whether it's talk shows, whatever it is, you are casting black men in a negative light. So making it acceptable amongst the citizenry of other races that it's okay to kill black people and nothing will happen to you. All they gonna do is cry and boohoo, hire Ben Crump, and tell everybody to stand down. Ain't nothing gonna happen. They're gonna keep killing our children until black men stand up and stop cowering to white supremacy. And stop thinking you can find a coalition somewhere else. You can't. There is no coalition. You can't go over. There's no black and brown coalition. There's no people of color coalition. Stop saying people of color and black and brown community. Dude, when they talk, they don't talk about us. Unless they're doing some type of Sambo cartoon in their language on their channels. You look at TV when you go over to Mexico. They got all kind of racist ass TV shows and cartoons. Since you think they love you so much over there. There's more white supremacists in Mexico than it is here. Because in Latino culture, white Jesus is real to them. So they aspire to want to be white. So if you think colorism is real bad amongst us, it's real bad with them. It's even worse with them. They really have an identity. They have an identity problem. You digs? But let me tell y'all, man. I'm telling you because they're going to keep doing things that let you know that at any time they could start wiping us out and nobody would do anything about it. You understand me? We're almost there. We're already there. We're already there. They just haven't started rounding us up yet. But don't get them. But don't think Trump wouldn't try that, or any other president. They've already been practicing on what they would do in case there was anarchy in this country. They're already practicing. They've been practicing in downtown LA late at night for years. Because they can sense, they keep poking that sleeping giant, and they know sooner or later they keep poking him, he gonna wake up. And you know what happened when they wake up that black warrior. Oh, they don't want that. Because we might have another Haiti on their hands. We might have another 1804 on their hands. You know what happened there. They kicked them Frenchies' ass. Ain't none of that foot to floor, who to play. Wasn't none of that shit after that. It was whoop your ass, Frenchie. Okay? It was whoop your ass, Frenchie. Wasn't none of that bullshit. Well, none of that bullshit back then. Okay. Trump is going to be in there for another 4 years. And then after that, it's either going to be Pence or it's going to be uh, somebody who's being groomed right now. If Pence says, hey, I had enough of this president shit when I was vice president. Because I don't think Pence is as old as Trump, but he is in his 60s, ain't he? So he might not want to do this too much longer. Although he might want to. Shit, look at Biden's old ass. He talking about, well, I want to run. I'm like, you old motherfucker. What did you have for breakfast this morning, old Uncle Joe? You don't remember the launch codes for the nuclear weapons, do you, huh? Trump is showing us that we have to start relying on each other. And what a lot of you are doing, you're trying to fight it. It's like the little 2-year-old who doesn't want to go to sleep, who's crying like somebody's trying to kill him or her. And they're just so, you're attacking them and all you're trying to do is get them to go to sleep. And yet they are crying like you are trying to kill them. You know, if you've ever had kids, you know what the hell I'm talking about. That's us. We don't want to believe that we are in harm's way. We don't want to believe that we need to start thinking like somebody who is in a war zone and who are at war. Rahowa, the racial holy war has already started. When are you going to start acting like you are at war? And they're not fighting fair. It's straight up guerrilla warfare out here. We have to start taking things seriously. We don't take things seriously. We don't take things seriously. And we want to wait till people are thumping us in the head before we wake up and say, hey, wait a minute here. You know, we're under attack. And you know, I'm not talking out my ass. You know, I'm telling the truth. Let me give you an example. When I was researching for my first book, The Game of Life According to the Iceman, Volume 1. If you don't have this, go get it. Either at asktheiceman.com or amazon.com. The Game of Life According to the Iceman, Volume 1. When I was doing the research for this book on Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. When I was doing the research for my first book, I'm working on my second book, The Dayton Bible. When I was doing the research on Black Wall Street, and I can't remember if I included this in the book or not, I think I did. When they started shooting, because they try to act like it was a race riot. It wasn't a riot. They just needed an excuse to haul off and start killing black people. So they started shooting at black people. And they said that this is eyewitness accounts. They said that when the black men started running to the gun stores to get guns, the white gun store owners wouldn't sell them guns. Y'all see where I'm going with this? And we got massacred. Thousands of innocent black people were murdered that day or those days. Because I think it went on for a few days. And they even started using military planes, dropping bombs on us. That's where that song, "You Dropped the Bomb on Me," come from with the Gap Band. That song has a secret meaning to it. You dropped a bomb on me. That's what these people did to us. If you don't believe we deserve reparations, I don't know. You ain't alive. And they did that to us because they're hateful, evil, and jealous. Because we had our own mini economy popping. Hospitals, law enforcement, movie theaters, doctors, lawyers, schools that we owned and controlled. And there were other Black Wall Streets in other parts of the country that maybe weren't as famous as Black Wall Street in Tulsa, but was just as important to those regions of the country. That story happened more than once. That story happened more than once, that they killed a bunch of black business owners because they were jealous. That's happened more than once. It's been mentioned before. I just didn't write it down. But I'm telling you, don't think they won't do it again. See, we so love starved for attention and validation today that you can't get 5 black people together to think about one thing. Can't do it. Now I can get, whenever I post something on Facebook, that is, really important, and something guys you should, maybe take that information and use it some kind of way. No response. But if I post something and put a half-naked woman's meme, a picture attached to it, I get 100 responses or thousands of responses. That's how you become extinct. I'm not saying that for shock value. I'm saying that because it's happening. When you're poor, you're more likely to have health issues that maybe you and I don't have. You see what I'm saying? And when we talk about poverty, we're talking about being poor. We're talking about generational. 9 times out of 10, if you live at or below the federal guidelines for poverty in this country, 9 times out of 10, your parent or parents grew up in poverty too. Now y'all see where I'm going with this. It's generational. You weren't upper class and then fell back down. You fall down with the niggas, and then you be like, oh my God, oh my God, I'm in the ghetto. Oh, I'm with the Negroes. That's not how it works. You've been amongst the Negroes generationally, which means your parents were poor as well, and probably their parents. Some people never got out of the cycle of poverty, even moving from during the Great Migration from the South to maybe St. Louis, which was still, in my opinion, the South, or making it up to Chicago, or making it up to Detroit, or even up to Boston and New York and those, Trenton and all them areas. Some people made it there and all they did was move from one impoverished position in the South to more poverty. Maybe now you can get welfare. That's what started with when you got these black women who either who didn't keep their legs closed before they got married, or they didn't know how to, if they was giving that thing up, they was like, this ain't gonna be no single mom situation, so we're gonna have to be careful. You have to wear them condoms. You digs? That's why we're gonna have to see sex ed now is that's not even optional. They don't even teach that in school anymore. They were barely teaching it when I was in school. Every 3 to 5 years, they're gonna be cutting things in education, city services, county services, state services, federal services, except for the defense budget. They pull this every year. It used to be all you had to do was send your kid to school in clothes. Now you got to buy paper. You got to buy all their pencils. You got to buy them all kind of backpacks. Shit. You like, well, if I'm buying all this, I might as well stay home and homeschool them. Shit, in some ways you probably would be. You probably would be better off. I'm gonna have to walk around stuck in this damn chair. Okay. There's no way to walk out of responsibility. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to sit up here and co-opt our way into, trying to get some other group to protect us. And that's not going to ever happen. And for the Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons, for all these other, folks out here, these swivel rights pimps, But all these other folks out here peddling this fantasy racial coalition where you can peddle that bullshit if you want to. We'll be over here, protecting our own, since you want to be on that bullshit. You digs? They telling you that everything is okay and that you don't have to do anything. And you could just let people light you up like they have been while they pay that, while they have security. While they have the best security money can buy. But they're telling you that there's some kind of racial coalition between you and the Latinos who cross over that Rio Grande and start calling themselves white as soon as they get here and start turning their nose up at you and calling you mayate. And you talking about, oh, they are friends. You sitting up here talking about there's a black and brown coalition. Well, you keep believing that there's a black and brown coalition if you want to. Keep believing them shits. We'll see how that works for you. Yeah, a lot of brothers, especially during Vietnam, a lot of brothers, even after Vietnam, for black men coming out of cities like us, the only way you could have anything or getting into the middle class was to go serve in the military, as bad as that was back then. It was bad when I came in. But at the same time, it was cool. When it was good, it was great. You digs? But it's hard to, get yourself out of poverty, and you still got a lot of your family that's still impoverished. A lot of them, hey man, let me tell you something. The more successful I become with all the things that I got going on, it's like every month or every other month, I'm losing a relative. Me and another relative are not on speaking terms. I know. You know why that happens? Because people are jealous. We have a lot of black folks that whatever opportunities that they were, they threw away, now they're paying for it. Okay, now that they're old and broken down, instead of being able to coast like I am, they are struggling. And they're so disrespectful and jealous toward me that they try to make it like I've done something to them, when it's the other way around, which I don't give a fuck about them anyway, because bum ass niggas, dusty niggas, I don't care if you're your family or not. I ain't got no use for you anyway. You ain't got you are of no use to yourself. So what kind of use are you going to be to me? And I'm not dusty. That's why I'm like, nigga, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Fuck you, nigga. You ain't nobody. That's why I don't talk to you. Don't be surprised that when you become successful, especially on your own terms, how shitty your family is going to start being towards you, especially if you tell the truth, like I do. See, people in my family that got salty because they know that when I start talking about bum ass family members, they know I'm talking about them. Well, that's your fault. You brought that shit on yourself. And I didn't say you. I could be talking about a bitch I used to fuck with. You digs? I could be. No guarantee. I ain't said nobody name. Sometimes I didn't say whether it was family or whatever. I didn't necessarily say, well, this was family. I didn't necessarily do that. But if you took it, if I was at that time talking about drunks, or I was talking about crackheads, or I was talking about bass heads, or I was talking about, meth heads, and maybe in talking about any of that, I mentioned something you currently do or used to do, and maybe there was some dick sucking included where you provided some bareback BJs in the back of somebody's dirty ass Buick or somebody's dirty ass Subaru Forester. Maybe you might be offended by me talking about one of the or above groups of addicts. Perhaps you don't want to be reminded of, how you had to walk the track. Hey, you might not want to be reminded that you used to have to be on the track. Lost and turned out. Hey, can you dig it? Lost and turned out. You was Olivia. You might not want to be reminded of that. I get it. But don't take it personal. Don't take it personally. Don't sit here and act like, somebody was somebody was trying to attack you. That ain't how this game work, homie. You digs? Scooby-Doo, look at my way. Okay. But look at here. These people are coming over here and they want to eliminate you and us. They want to eliminate us by any means necessary. And if you think they're your friends, you keep dreaming. Keep dreaming that there's some black and brown coalition out here. That's why I don't let them get away with shit. Whenever they step to me or I step to them, if they don't come correct, I let it be known I'm willing to drop them elbows. I don't even front. I could be outnumbered. I don't give a damn. But I tell you what, somebody gonna get hit in the face with a 6-pack of Shasta lemon lime soda. You digs? Somebody gonna get hit upside the head with a pack of Charmin tissue. You digs? I let it be known I ain't one of these scary church going black folks. I will get with that ass. You digs? Now check this out. You know what stupidity is? Stupidity is when you've been told, when you've been given information and you choose not to do anything. It's like maybe there's a nuclear shower outside the house and they tell you to stay indoors, not to run out there in that radiation, although being inside ain't gonna help you too much. And because you didn't listen to your homeboy who had been telling you for months that this day was going to come and that you needed to be prepared to, to do what you need to be done, do what needs to be done, whether it's getting out of town or whatever, and you didn't listen. And now you're stuck, possibly burning alive with this radiation when you could have got out of town with your homeboy and his family and could have went to a part of the country where where we're not nuclear radiation the threat level ain't high as hell of you burning alive. You didn't listen. So now you got to wait for the authorities to come get you, which ain't going to be quick enough. You're going to be dead by the time they get to you. See, reason why I'm talking about this is because I've been watching on HBO. I've been watching Chernobyl. What happened in Russia when they had that nuclear reactor explode? See, that happened during my childhood. But I never knew the gravity of what happens when a nuclear reactor explodes. Everything in that area within 100 miles, all the livestock, everything is just rotten. You can't eat any of the food. You can't keep the pets. You can't milk no cows. You can't get no goat milk. Nothing. All the animals had to get killed. I mean, man, it's probably the third episode was this week. And it's great acting. They do it in English though. But it's amazing what those people had to put up with, and the people who were trying to help clean up that shit. And why we need to get away from nuclear. You need to get away from that shit. Because when that shit explodes, if it's near water, everything within hundreds of miles will be dead. These people who controls those kinds of systems are the same people who provide you your water. These are the same people that put diseases in your communities. These are the same people who work for or are the people who are telling you to run for this political candidate or support this political party or not support this one. These are the same people. You better start listening. If you don't want to listen to me, find somebody else to listen to who you can stomach. But you know what? Ain't nobody gonna do it like the Iceman do. Because at the end of the day, we are at war and we're losing. And all of you guys who think there's some coalition out there, whether you're a feminist, whether you're LGBT, you have no friends. And when it's all said and done, you are a nigger just like the rest of us. You ain't no of higher echelon or hierarchy than we are. You might think you are, but you're not. We better start acting like a team instead of acting like individuals. We better start demanding respect, or we'll be talking about reparations in 2040. Is it racism or is it our stupidity? Trump is giving you something to think about. Because even if they got rid of him, you'd still be under the system of white supremacy. You were doing Obama, and he was black. They told you, now the Democrats are telling you, well, if you can just get Trump out of office and get us in office, we'll be back in business. Ain't that right, black folks? You know damn good and well the Democratic Party has done nothing for us. You know it. You really do know that, but you don't want to admit it to yourself. You know damn good and well they have done nothing for us and will continue to do nothing for us and expect our votes in return. They have been giving us a nothing burger for years, and we've been accepting it with fries. How many more years are going to go by before we start telling these assholes we want no more nothing burgers? If you want to continue to eat more nothing burgers, that's fine. I don't want to eat a nothing burger. Okay? I don't want to eat a nothing burger. I don't understand why black folks would rather be against each other than to work with each other. I don't understand. Maybe I'm naive. Am I naive? Am I naive to believe the best of you? Am I naive to want the best, hopefully inspire the best out of you? Who wants to meet somebody and for somebody to say, hey, I'll make it, hopefully I can get the worst out of you today, pal. Nobody wants to start their day with that. You want somebody to encourage you, not to tell you that you suck. I can't wrap this message in a pretty wrapping paper and sell it to you. Can't do it. I don't have good enough wrapping paper. Why should I have to wrap the truth in pretty packaging for you to pay attention to it? How come you don't want to be proactive enough not to get caught slipping out here in these streets. Now, those of you who are from South Central LA, you know what I'm talking about. We are the kings and queens on not getting caught slipping in them streets, ain't we? We can go to any other city around America, and if you from South Central, you know how to not get caught slipping. It's certain things that if you from South Central LA, you like, it's time for me to get off these streets. Or if you know, a risk taker, then you might say it's time to get in them streets. Either way, at some point, living in them streets, you're gonna bend the wrong corner, you're gonna bend the wrong corner, player. Oh, you're gonna bend the wrong corner. And you're gonna bend that corner, and it's gonna be Brothers Grimm gonna be waiting on your ass. Okay? Something gonna happen to you. Somebody gonna catch you slipping. And then you might get through it. You might get through it. But if you get through that first time getting caught slipping, nigga, you're gonna know better not to get caught slipping a second time. Y'all know what I'm talking about. See, I was in them streets not too long ago, and somebody tried to run up on me. Now, you know, if you from LA, you don't run up. You know, look, you know, you just don't run up. Okay? Now, if you run up, in case you get stupid and you do run up, let me just set this up for you. You might get done up if you run up. Okay? You might run up and go pop, 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 pop. Might get some of that hot shit up in you. You might get some smoke. And you really don't want no smoke. Not that kind of smoke. Okay? Now, I'm sorry I had to set it up for you like that. Okay? You want to run up, you might get done up. And I had somebody run up. And I had to, well, you know, I had to show the rump shaker. Okay? I had to let them know that I got a rump shaker. I got a rump shaker, homie. You don't want none of this rump shaker. You digs? So, you know, it's bound to happen. If you from like the Bay Area, you from the Yay, same thing. You from Central Valley, you from Vallejo, that area, Fairfield, San Jose. Hey, you don't run up. You don't run up on no California niggas unless you want to get done up. Okay? Nigga, nigga. Okay? You don't run up on no NorCal and no SoCal niggas like that. You don't run up on them. You digs? So no matter where you go in America, it's like you like, hey, I ain't trying to get caught slipping. I ain't gonna get caught slipping. Hey man, you in, you know, this little old town, man. We only got 10,000 people. Yeah, but I ain't trying to get caught slipping. You dig? Try to, like I said, I try to give cats some kind of template because some cats don't have that. That's why I tell guys that, hey, hire me as a life coach. Maybe you need some more help than you do from just listening to my videos. Some people need extensive help. And I don't have a problem helping you as long as you're willing to do the work. This ain't going to work unless you do the work. If you just up here bullshitting, it ain't going to work. I can't open your head up and pour game into your head. That's not how this works. And a lot of you lames, that's what you think my job is, to open your head up and put game in your head. That ain't how this works. Don't be a fool. That ain't how this works, player. So I'm going to leave you with this here. We got to do this together. We got to do this as a team. And this ain't going to work without all of us doing our part. I'm doing my part. Are you doing yours? You tune in to the Iceman Show podcast. I am your host, the Iceman. Come holler at us on Saturday, the Player Circle podcast. Our topic will be if my dick was a hammer. Nah, let me think. Oh, good. Let me think. What would be a good topic? What would happen if your mama left her drawers at my house? Nah, that ain't a good one. They had that question on Jeopardy last week. Let me see. What if my balls smell like fried chicken? No, that's not a good one. Let me think. Is simping and tricking coming to an end? That's what we'll talk about Saturday on the Player Circle podcast. I am your host, the Iceman. Remember, the Player Circle podcast every Saturday. We'll be on the air about 4 p.m. Pacific time. Remember that. Come one, come all. Don't meet me there, beat me there. Holla at your boy.